Hello. How are y'all doing? Hey Kylon, hey Mikab. Hope you are well. Sorry that I'm a bit late. I worked till like 6:15, got home at 6:30, and then watched Beyond the Gates and GH back to back, just so I could be caught up. In case y'all ask about both. But welcome. Hey Allison. Welcome to the live stream with not much of a title. It's just my thoughts on Beyond the Gates. Show is 3 episodes in. I do have thoughts. But also, I want to know what y'all think too. Because I've not watched any other sort of soap reviewers' thoughts on it, just so I could have like my own sort of opinion on it without reading reviews or watching YouTube reviews. Just I don't know. I try just to have just my perspective of the show. Obviously, the idea of having a new soap. Hey, Sandy. Hey, the idea of having a new soap was exciting. Especially like a black soap. It's not something that's common. Certainly not in the last few decades. And just the fact that like, you know, America's getting another soap is crazy. And it was exciting because it's you know, as a Canadian over here, we get the American soaps. GH is the only one that I've really enjoyed thoroughly, consistently. And also I was excited to watch because, you know, I've never seen a soap from the start before. All the other ones started super long time ago. And the ones that started later got canceled pretty quickly. So, like in terms of like the 90s onwards. But yeah, I don't know where to begin, y'all. I don't know where to begin because I'm still trying to familiarize myself with the characters' names. I haven't clicked onto most of them. And hey, Rick. But yeah, what I'll give is, oh, you haven't seen the Gates yet, but came to hang out. Okay, so I feel like I'm, to be fair to y'all, because I don't know how much you guys have watched either. I won't dive too much into the thickness of the stories. Angel, this is not a GH live stream. It's a Beyond the Gates live stream. But yeah. So it's more of a mandate to have black characters than they have. Okay. I guess we can sort of tie in like the comparison of GH black characters to the characters on the Gates, Beyond the Gates. You guys got the behind the scenes too. See, I think I watched like the trailer of it, and that was all I watched. Okay, but I can't even remember what my original thought is. Let's get in. Well, first thing I'll get into is kind of the aesthetics of this soap and what I enjoy about the aesthetics. First of all, and because I'm like a nerd like that, I pay attention to this kind of stuff. I think the lighting is phenomenal. I think the sets look great. I love the location shoots that they've been doing, whether it was obviously the opening scene, one of our main characters driving through the gates and up to the main resort. That's crucial info. We only got 3 episodes to talk about. Listen. Well, okay. All right. So yeah, lighting looks great. Sets, phenomenal. Sandy, you said, I'm loving the new soap, the sets, the wardrobe, and the music. Yeah, my next thought was the wardrobe. Wardrobe is fire. Oh, you said the hospital looks like old school GH from the 90s, actual music playing. I mean, well, to be fair, like, they're music-wise, they can go all out for their first episode. They got themselves a budget for their opening, which any soap would. Any show would, naturally. Emotions group singing my love song was a good touch. Oh, man. So, also, Robert Guza Jr., who was GH's head writer, is the executive producer, I believe. And Michelle Valjean, who was a GH writer as well, I believe, is the head writer of this soap. How they got a bigger budget than the other soaps. I think that, like, just for the first couple of episodes, all right? Like, I think, like, from what this is me guessing, apart from obviously the location shoot of going through the gates and stuff, I think the other scenes, like the scenes that took place outside today, were probably most likely shot outside of the lot where they're shooting the actual show, like the sets of the show. Very much like GH does, in the sense, like, they do car scenes in the parking lot and, you know, coffee shop outside of the studio, and the GH studio sort of front entrance is GH's hospital entrance. I think it's very much like that. And the only one that they may have gone further for is the opening scene, like I said, with the going beyond the gates. Surprised it's an hour-long soap. B&B is still a 30-minute soap. Is it filmed in LA? That I'm not too sure. It doesn't. If it is in LA, they did a good job at making it not look like it was in LA. I also don't know where the gates, like the town, is supposed to be. So if you guys know better than me, because some of you obviously watched the behind-the-scenes stuff and probably got the synopsis, and I'm sure they mentioned it in probably one of the first episodes, but it's already beyond me. Sorry. So the next thing I want to talk about is the who's who, without getting into all the details, but essentially it's filmed in Atlanta. Okay, good to know. I think that the stories, they're intriguing. They certainly are intriguing. I like that it centers around a wealthy, sort of rich black family, and that they're kind of shady. There's like shady secrets going on that we're not privy to yet. And you know, there's some drama because of it. It's giving Quartermain, you know, but you know, in the sense that they're like not just like the owner of this community, but like they're also doctors, and there's social media sort of stars, and you know, it's a slew of different jobs among this family, and they all sort of are essentially the head of this gated community. And I like that they have the townspeople sort of talking about the family and like gossiping, and you know, it's very much centered around the family. That much is clear. Maryland, okay. Rick, he said, Sandy, did you know that they asked Tyler Perry? Oh, interesting. To sort of play on Rustin. Tina Marie is like the mother Tina Marie. Cool. See, I wouldn't have picked up on that. So yeah, like in terms of the stories do intrigue me. And there are some potentially interesting characters. Now, how do I say this? Um, I don't know if it's just that we, obviously, we being us here who watch GH often, and this is typically a GH, live stream. But I don't know if we're spoiled. GH has a phenomenal cast. It's very seldom that they get it wrong, or they get actors who really can't bring things to the table. The one thing that is it's making me a little bit bummed is that don't kill me, y'all, but there are a lot of really horrible actors on there. There are some great ones, don't get me wrong. There's some great ones, but there are some really horrible, cringy actors on there, and that just it's cringy, it's campy. Sometimes camp can be a good thing, but just the acting has to be believable. And there are a lot of characters who aren't being played by great actors. And at the top of it, for me, is the character that seems to be getting the most story and the most screen time, Danny, who is apparently the unhinged rich girl in the family who, let's face it, she got cheated on. She's bitter about it, rightfully so. Her ex is getting married to one of her former best friends, and and they're getting married in their resort and buying a house in the gated community. A lot to be mad about. I would be mad about it. But the actress that plays Danny, I cannot take her seriously. I cannot. And I'm sorry. I don't like to actor bash a whole lot. But it's because she's so central to at least this first batch of episodes. It's hard for me to get into it because it takes me out of it. Because she's just so extra that it bothers me. And my mom feels the same. We were even watching today's episode. She said the same exact thing for me, as me. And that was before I told her my opinion. I mean, Drew is not a good man. I don't really have an opinion of Bill yet, to be honest, Albert. And really it comes down to we don't know the entire situation yet. We don't know why he was estranged from her. We only really have that he slept around a lot, which let's face it, wealthy people kind of do that. But obviously he knows things about this family that is the central of the show, that they're hiding something, and he's kind of blackmailing them into coming to the wedding with whatever it is. That part is intriguing. Like I said, the stories really genuinely intrigue me, truly. It's just that the character of Danny, the actress that plays her, is taking me right out of it. And that upsets me. I want to hope that, this is the first week. This is a new soap. No one's familiar with it because there's nothing to familiarize with. It's a soap. But it's a new soap with no context of the history because this is the start of the history. They're having to kind of feed us, bits and pieces here. As they go on, and they'll have to kind of sprinkle that more into it. But yeah, my humble opinion is that it's hard for me to invest in a show whose biggest storyline is being led by an actress that just is not acting well. Because so much of the cast are great, and it's interesting because I find that the ones that are probably the most talented are the ones that are clearly like side characters. Although there are people in the family itself that are great actors already from what we've seen so far. But there's some that aren't, and like to me, because from what I can tell so far, this show is heavily relying on this family to be the sort of leader of the stories. It's kind of like y'all needed all of them to be strong, because if you don't have the strong foundation, how can the rest of the show sort of, carry it when your leading people aren't all that great? I think you're picking up how the script is written on the show. Do you mean like in terms of how she's playing it? The thing is, no, like we've seen characters like Dani before, even on GH. We've had the sort of unhinged, unfiltered, kind of crazy people on our show, and they're played by really skilled actors. So even when I'm hating those characters that we've seen on GH, I'm always just in awe of how crazy talented the people playing them are. Like I think of like the most recent example really is Nell, and Chloe Lanier is just so top tier at the crazy. And I think of Lisa Niles, Brianna Brown, who played Lisa Niles back then, when Lisa was torturing Patrick and Robin. How well she played into that sort of crazy aspect. And like to me, I don't know if they're here's how I see it. I don't know if it's a choice, but she's playing this character like she's like mentally ill and like on the verge of a full-on breakdown. When like to me, like the writing for it feels like she's supposed to be this character that is like strong, like take no prisoners, doesn't take anyone's shit, and like she's like supposed to be this strong girl, and she's coming off as like yikes. Like I don't know, and it feels like, just based on the script for it doesn't feel like it should be played the way that she's playing it. And I can't tell if that's like by her choice or if she's that bad. And like my fear is like, if she was the best that they could, like if she was the one that they hired, what were the other actresses like? Because like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Sorry, Kaiwan, do you think that she's supposed to be mentally ill? Genuine question. Like, do you think? I can bring this to the entire chat. Do you guys think that this character is supposed to be playing someone that's not just like a woman scorned, but like something's mentally wrong with her? Dani is problematic and on the verge of a breakdown, but like to the extent that they're showing it as, though, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then just like for perspective, it's not just that either. Like my perfect example, just today's episode, the crying in the elevator at the end of it looked so unbelievably fake and cringe that I burst out laughing, and my mom burst out laughing. Like we're just sitting there like, this is so bad. Like, it's just so bad. It's so bad. And it sucks because I like the stories, and I like so many of the actors that are on there. But there's a few not so strong ones on there, and it's jarring, and it's making me not really want to watch. I will obviously watch for the rest of this week. I will watch through the wedding. I'm assuming they keep saying Friday. I'm sure it'll start Friday. I'm sure it'll bleed into next week. Because I want to see how it plays out. But I don't know, y'all. He's been cheating for years. Yeah, someone will bug out over that. Yeah, like I can see why. I'm sorry, but this actress is way worse than Trina's crying. Dead ass. Mix that with all the other stuff. She's just a horrible actress. Horrible actress. All around. All around. There's not a single scene that she was in where I was like, wow, that was actually not bad. Like, it was all bad. All of it. All of it. Like, if I could compare, like, the only other actress that has bothered me so bad was Emmy Ryland's Lulu. And this girl is worse. Never thought I'd see the day. Like, man, she's just, it makes me mad because I've really been looking forward to the show. And I don't know, maybe, like, for the most part, I don't recognize there's like maybe like 2 actors I recognize. Obviously, John Lindstrom's going to be in there soon. You can tell that Danny's actress isn't like the character at all in real life. She don't know how to play her. I think it's the director and writing is carrying dialogue. Well, the director needs some notes. And listen, the writing, we GH viewers know how bad writing can get. But the best of actors can make it work still. You know, we've got a lot of seasoned vets who can take the most ridiculous storylines and make it realistic, make you kind of get the characters and make you sort of, you know, make you believe the shit that they're writing. to an extent, it makes you want to extend your sort of belief. Like to that end, Finola Hughes has been given so much shit in terms of writing over the last decade. You know, she's had to put up with masked characters and, you know, her arch nemesis playing her lover and like ridiculous characters like Obrecht going after her sort of being duped by Peter August. There is so much bad writing around the character, yet Finola Hughes is a good enough actress that she makes it work the best that she can. It's not about the dialogue or the storyline. Good actors know how to make the most of it. And GH has a lot of actors that can make the most out of pure garbage that we get from time to time. All 3 shows need new executive producers. Allison said worse than Carly number 2, Jennifer Bransford. So I like, if she was playing anyone else, I'd think she'd be an okay actress. The Carly number 2. Carly number 3. Sarah, Tamara, Jennifer was the 3rd. Laura's the 4th. But yeah, I hated her as Carly, but if I were to just look at her as some random character, like, she wasn't horrible at having a mental breakdown. You know what I mean? The writing style isn't natural. They aren't talking like a natural conversation. It feels scripted. Most of these guys aren't veterans, but they show most of them are brand new television actors. So a lot of them are newcomers. I've heard that like a lot of the cast are from like have been on previous soaps over the years, previous like acting gigs. And then mind you, like I said, I'm not familiar with any of their work, but I heard that some of them have like a resume, you know? And maybe those are the ones that are good. I don't know. I haven't read like I said, I'm not too familiar. I've just been trying to sort of be as unbiased as I can be. Like I guess the biasness is that I have GH to compare it to, but it's not like I've not seen episodes of other soaps before. My hope is that, you know, because this is new, everyone's sort of nervous, and maybe some of these people are out of practice. I don't know. They've certainly not appeared on, you know, any of the actors that we've seen so far have not appeared on GH or shows that I've watched in the past, just in general. So I have nothing to sort of compare to in terms of their past work and what they're doing now. Let me know if you guys have seen any of their past work and what you think of who they are now or how they're playing characters now. Kaiwan, you can recognize some of them from Law & Order, Girlfriend sitcom. Okay. And you guys know, as long as you guys know me, you know I don't watch a whole lot of television just in general. You know, what I watch here in 2025, apart from obviously Beyond the Gates right now in GH, is like 911, American Horror Story whenever it graces us with its presence, and like then it's just like I just watch YouTube. From like video bloggers to, you know, travel shows and, you know, game players, let's plays, those kind of things. So not a huge GH character. Or GH character, sorry, I was reading something there. I'm not a huge TV watcher. Isaiah, you said Danny's actress was on Bold and the Beautiful as a trans character despite not being trans. Mike Manning, gay white dude, was on Days. I'm not familiar with the others. Okay. So Mike was on Days. It's interesting that Danny played a trans character. How was she in that, Isaiah? The nurse reminds you of Elizabeth. No, so there's not been a whole lot of the nurse that we've seen yet. She doesn't remind me of Elizabeth. Although I can kind of see why she might for you. She more so, I don't know what it is. She gives me Molly vibes, like current Molly. She gives me current Molly vibes, a little bit. But so far her character seems relatively pointless. You know, we'll see if anything more comes of her character. I liked the woman in yesterday's episode. That was kind of like her training, her like, I guess her trainer, that was kind of guiding her around the hospital, because I think it was her first day at the hospital. Me, Club, you don't watch TV either nor movies. I do be watching movies from time to time, but it's also rare. Like I have like, you know, streaming networks like Netflix and Disney Plus to watch like new movies when they come out and stuff, new shows when they come out. But I don't know. One that sells houses doing the whole thing. Huh. But yeah, so my hope is that everyone's just kind of nervous and maybe it'll get better with time. Typically it would. You know, actors, you know, we've seen so many newcomers on GH that flourished into better actors than when they started. Albert, you said, I just feel like when people complain about diversity and then people complain about the Gates, it's like they really finally have a show about diversity. It seems like people don't know what they want. No, I want the show. I just want better actors being in it. Like I said, I'm intrigued about the storylines. I want to watch. Danny's taking me out of it. Like everything else about it, like I'm about it. I can even put up with like the other actors who aren't the best, but they're getting by. But I don't know. I do not know. I want to watch. I'm excited that there is a soap, a black soap, and like the premise of it on paper is great. And you know, I think that like despite how I feel about the acting, story-wise, I think they're at a strong start in terms of like they have to, we're at the beginning. They have to allow us to get to know who's who in a way that holds our interest and sort of lets us know who these people are, and sort of like a almost like a quick way that they kind of have to, right? And I feel like we always like the only thing I can really compare it to, having not seen the beginning of a soap before, is whenever soaps in like the 90s and 2000s went to like sweep stunts. They'd have like they'd bring the entire canvas on all at once, and they'd throw them into like this major storyline, and they sort of give them enough scenes throughout the story that they kind of give you context to who they are as a person, like what their names are, who they're dating, what their relationships are, who their family members are. They really, I feel like soaps did a great job at kind of establishing that in those sweep months, like the Februarys and Novembers that they used to really go all out. They always did a good job at kind of letting the audience know who was who, especially new audience members that were coming in. I was brought in quite literally through the Port Charles Hotel storyline, and by the end of it, I kind of already had an idea of who was who. So, they're having to do that because no one knows who any of these people are. These characters are, sorry. A lot of them are new actors on a new show. They will improve. Yeah, that's my hope. That's definitely my hope. Like, I'm rooting for the show. I can't, like, I don't know. Like I said, I like the stories. I like the lighting. I like the sets. I like the wardrobe. I like the outside location shoots. I guess in terms of more technicality, the accident from today, or not the accident, the character that ran the other character off the road, those scenes were interestingly lit. Like, you could tell it was so budgety, but it worked. It served its purpose. We have diversity, but we can't help the scripts are a little bad on the show. Are you talking about GH? Because yeah, there is some diversity in GH, but yeah, sometimes the script be bad. But to that end, I think that there are some great black actors on the GH canvas, and they do play their characters pretty authentically, like in terms of like culture and just mindset of these characters and budgety. Well, I mean, it's soaps don't have the biggest budgets, Mikab. All right, we all know this, and obviously this is for like American soaps. The UK, like, they go all out. It seems EastEnders, I've watched on and off over the years, just on YouTube, because I think it's on. We have it somewhere on TV, but I can never catch it. So I've always like watched clips. And I've enjoyed the clips, and I've followed like certain couples and certain characters' storylines throughout the years, just to keep watching. But they're always on location, everywhere, every day, and these shows look like prime time compared to our little shoestring budget TV shows in the daytime. Islander, you said maybe some of the GH actors will leave GH and switch to Beyond the Gates. Well, Taggart is already there, I think, right? Marcus. Who's Rael Andrews? Is he not in that, or am I crazy? And John Lindstrom is there. We have not seen either of them yet, but I've heard that they're on there. Unless I'm crazy, maybe I'm thinking wrong. Hollyoaks is a great UK soap. I've not watched Hollyoaks. I've heard of it. I only have one friend out in the UK, and she's an EastEnders fan. And she's not but got me into it, by the way. I found it all on my own. And it's funny because like I've shown her clips of GH over the years, and like she'll say like how bad the GH actors are compared to like the EastEnders soap. So who knows? It could be down to where you're from or what you're used to, right? But you know, to that end, we've had some, you know, GH cast members go into primetime and find huge success in movies. And you know, think of Demi Moore. You think of, well, Elizabeth Taylor just wanting to be on our show, James Franco wanting to be on our show, Jeff Kober we had on our show, and these are legends. And then we've also had like, you know, Nicholas Chavez, who's gone on to have success in primetime shows, very successful primetime shows. I was laughing the other day because my friend on Facebook, who does not watch soaps at all, but he's like, he's another gay man, but he's like shameless and like posting like hot guys on his Facebook page, and he's posted Nicholas Chavez a few times, and I'm just like, I knew him first. They have some gorgeous men behind those gates. They do. I will say, I've got some crushes on there. Some guys I'm side-eyeing like, damn. But yeah, there's some gorgeous men. There's, like, listen, most of the cast is incredibly gorgeous, to be fair. And there's a lot of gorgeous men that are good actors, from what I can tell so far. And there's beautiful females that are great actresses as well. Just not all of them. And that's boys and girls. Men and women's. Nicola is going to be... Nicola? Do you mean Nicholas? Is he going to be in Really? I'm like, why am I the last to know these things? I really got to pay attention to like what goes on in these actors' lives. And it's funny because like I follow so many of them on Instagram, but it's like on my GH Instagram where I don't really visit it that often because like what to post. I'm usually just on here. But I try to keep up, and I've just not seen that. I know that he's gonna be in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie, which is exciting. I do love me some Jennifer Love Hewitt. But yeah. For 3, he's gonna blow up. Like, he's already blowing up. He had success in Monster and in Grotesquerie. Man, I'm still on Tumblr, y'all, and the thirst post I see on Nicholas is hilarious. It's just like, for me, it's like weird because, you know, like when you watch a soap, it feels like these characters are like your family. So like for me, and because Nicholas is so young, it's like watching like your little brother like suddenly like, I don't know, hit puberty and get like thirsted after like constantly. Oh man, just like some of the things that people say, especially when he was playing that the priest in the first half of Grotesquerie. Just the things people were saying, my goodness. Well, good for Nicholas though. Nicholas for being good and busy. We love when the actors stay busy because acting is not an easy profession to get into because there's so much uncertainty. You know, you kind of have to chase the money a little bit. Some people get lucky. Soap operas, you are more likely to have a continuous gig, potentially for the rest of your life, than you would just hopping from movie to movie and hoping that you get a role that pays off. If Nicholas can get a show where he, that's at least a continuous one, because Monster, you can't have a season 2 of their story. Although I guess it depends on what happens to them in real life. Because, there's the potential of them getting out of jail. Maybe they'll continue something. Who knows? But I doubt it, though. Just for the record. Is he really going to Euphoria? Because I thought that was a rumor. Kaiwan, if you are staying for a rumor and you're trying to act it like it is fact, this is like the 3rd time you've done it. You gotta stop, man. Because yeah, like I've not seen a single article. And usually like those like soap opera digest Instagram pages, like they're usually letting us know what's going on with the actors. I've not seen that one yet. Like even the obscure things. They talked to Sebastian Roach earlier, either a day or two ago, and just caught up with him and was like, he's doing this, this, and this. Could he come back to GH? No plans to, but never say never. Like they're saying obscure things. If I've not seen them announce that Nicholas Chavez is going to be on Euphoria, then it's probably not true. On that YouTube video. Listen, there are YouTube videos titled, "Oh, tragic GH star passes away," with like Steve Burton on the front, you know? If you think everything on YouTube is fact, like everything is clickbait, man. Clickbait, dude. You can't, but yet somebody mentioned it on YouTube, so it must be true. No, don't do that. I've had to stop my mom from doing that. The amount of times it says Jason dies and these like ridiculous like thumbnails of like fake bullet holes in their heads with the blood coming out, like it's insane. Get reputable actual news sources, dude. You cannot rely on a YouTube video for like actual facts. And even worse if it's one of those YouTube videos that has like a robotic voice doing the talking for you. Like, if you ain't seen a real person on those soap videos, they are not the truth. My opinion, Kaiwan, and this can count to any soap that you watch, do not rely on YouTube for soap opera news. Never. Go to Soap Opera Digest. Go to Daytime Confidential. Go to the ones that actually interview the cast and have the articles and have the receipts. Do not go on YouTube. It was a guy and I guess he had an old script. Well, I'm just saying, don't do the YouTube news thing. Don't do soap opera news on YouTube. Go to the articles for those ones. But yeah. Now we have AI influencers that look realistic. It's scary, man. I like, there's certain things I don't mind about AI, but like some of it is terrifying. Yeah, so many fakes out there on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. Like me, I ain't like, you guys know that I am not reporting like news on the GH cast and who's coming and this and that. If I'm saying anything, it's because I've checked. It's like coming from like an actual reliable source that is always consistent, and those are the Daytime Confidentials and the ABC Soap Digest and all those things where I get casting news from. This on Instagram who's joining the cast of Euphoria, and Nicholas was on that list. There we go. Debunked. All right, but we're getting a little bit off topic. Just to wrap things up, I am rooting for endless success for Beyond the Gates. I am hoping that the acting gets better, especially on Danny's part, but you know, the other cast members that aren't really wowing me yet as well. But like I said, there are some great ones that I'm already intrigued by. A lot of them are side characters and that I want to get to know more. And ain't that the thing with soap? So like the people that they have in their leads are like the people that you're least interested in. I feel like it's been like that for me for GH, even for like a lot of years. Because like, how long has Sunny and Carly and Jason been the leads on the show, and they are the least interesting characters to me in general. Like, they're the ones that I care the least about. Although I loved J-Sam as a couple, but like, I don't know, Sunny apart from like the mob stuff, like the action stuff, which is not really a thing anymore. Has not been an interesting character for me. And even the mob stuff got old for me pretty quickly because it was like the same story every year, just with a different villain. So I don't know. But I was always like intrigued by like the obscure stories of these characters that we barely seen. That those were the ones that were always holding my interest, that kept me watching. And so maybe it's gonna be the same. And we haven't really gotten to see much of the side characters yet. And I want to get to know them more, genuinely. Now, I don't see me doing a constant Beyond the Gates live stream. Like I said, y'all, I really don't have time to. I can definitely try to dedicate, like if this soap can keep me going for at least a month, then there's hope. And at most I'll dedicate a Wednesday to good night, Sandy. I'll dedicate a Wednesday every month to just giving my thoughts about the weeks of Beyond the Gates that I've watched, assuming that I continue to watch it. It's always recording. Angel said, I hope Kevin is playing someone other than a psychiatrist on the Gates. Well, isn't one of the main characters already a psychiatrist? I mean, I suppose he could be her colleague. But I don't know. But hopefully they're utilizing him in a way that's exciting. John Lindstrom is extremely talented. We've seen him play every both extremes just on GH, from crazy batshit supervillain to overall good guy and psychiatrist and like loving husband. So I don't know. Think they're going to do a gambling storyline on Beyond the Gates? Time will tell. We don't know much about most of these characters yet. Oh, one thing I'll add just before I go. I almost forgot to mention it. The girl that ran off the other character off the road. She's not exactly my favorite actress on the show either. She's not even like my second worst. She's just like not wowing me. But it's unfortunate. Like if they're making her like this crazy villain for reasons that we don't know yet, then like she better bring her A game to it. One thing I will say is that for the most part, GH has had some of the most insanely talented people play super villains over the years. You know, we've had Constance Sowers, Elizabeth Taylor, Sebastian Roche. Like, you know, we've had some solid ones, like Faison. The Cassadines in general, most of them are played by fantastic actresses and actors. So, you know, my hope is that the cast grows and gets better with time, especially Danny. It's really what it comes down to. Like I said, it's really Danny that takes me out of it. Truly, everything else, I'm like, I'm paying attention. Like I said, I like the stories. I like a lot of the actors that are on there. So I don't know. I'm at like a solid 50-50 on whether I'll keep watching. You can't put bad scripts. You got to put all the energy in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So far, like the scripts, I don't know. Maybe the dialogue, yeah, it can be a little bit jarring right now. And you know, again, who's to say? It's a soap. It's off to kind of a rocky start, but I'm willing to give it some grace because it is just the start. And it must have been interesting to start a soap during a time where they did have budget and all this time to dedicate to, really well directed scenes and well scripted stories. A lot of them did start out in that sort of era, where they had the time to edit and not go at the fast pace that they are now. This is a soap that is starting from scratch with the sort of new era, of what soaps are like in today's sort of fast-paced soap opera world, where it's shoestring budget. You got one take. There's no time to to really fix any of the mess ups or focus too much on the scripts, because it's this, and this. You know, we'll see. Does this stream on Paramount Plus? I don't know. Does it? Y'all tell me. I don't have Paramount Plus. For us, it airs on CBS. We have CBS here too. So, but maybe it's on a streaming network. I don't know. But yeah, I hope this show can win me over. I want it to, because, you know, like I said, the stories are intriguing. The show looks gorgeous. I need a little bit more from the actors, some of them, to really win me over. And my mom kind of feels the same way. Good to know, Albert. Well, there you go. If y'all don't have CBS or cable, watch it on Paramount Plus. No, but seriously, guys, I'm rooting for the show, and I want it to do good. And I will, like I said, I will watch till the end of this wedding situation, and if it holds me enough or intrigues me enough, and the acting gets better from the characters that they're kind of pushing as the leads, then I'll continue to watch and perhaps give my thoughts once a month on a Wednesday. You know, I'll probably have to give it a better title than my thoughts on Beyond the Gates, but we'll see. All right, guys, but yeah, that's sort of my unfiltered thoughts. Like I made sure I had no game plan. I didn't write any notes. I just kind of wanted to give you what is just in my brain right now from watching these 3 episodes, because again, not a whole lot to go by yet, and I'm gonna give fairness that I always give for like actors. I'm willing to give them a chance, but they got some things to prove. There are actors who stepped in for recasts that took me a long time to warm up to. Some of them I never did warm up to. Some of them I warmed up to pretty quickly. Some of them I'm mad that they're not getting as much story as like their previous actors, like Jordan. But yeah, so I will extend the same grace to all these characters who are played by new actors that we just don't know anything about. As far as I'm concerned, they're all recasts to characters that we've just not seen before. We have an idea of who these characters are, and it's on these actors to make us believe that they are who they are. But that's it, y'all. All right, thanks for tuning in to this word vomiting live stream. I hope y'all don't hate me for not being super worshipy about the shows so far. You know, I think the reality is they really set my expectations super high. You know, just from like the hype of it all, you know? Yeah. I gotta lower them for a little bit until it gets a little bit better. Alright, guys. Thank you so much. If you liked this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. If you guys are tuning in that have never been here, that are just watching my opinion for Beyond the Gates because you're intrigued, welcome. I'm sorry if you enjoyed it more than I did. I hope it wins me over. I really hope so. All right. Good night, y'all. I will see you Sunday for the General Hospital after show. Good night.